Hello everyone. These are 8 gladiators that I've just finished painting. I purchased them at Salute about three weeks ago. Bought them from Gripping Beast. They are produced for the game Jugula, which is published by Studio Tomahawks, and they are 8 out of 12 figures that are available for the game. You can either buy the figures individually in blister packs, or you can buy them in boxes of 4, what are called Familiae, which is the Latin name for a household of slaves. And if you buy them in the box sets, they also come with additional equipment, head changes, that kind of thing, so that you can customise them a little bit more. And you can also buy transfers which are made by Little Big Men Studios specifically for these figures. I'll talk a little bit more about those in a moment. And I'm ready to go now. You only need 4 figures to play a game, 4 figures per player. If you're going to play a campaign, you need 6 figures for the campaign. So I'm missing 4. In the game you've got a choice of 12 different figures, 6 of which are light, and I believe they call the other 6 deadly rather than heavy. So I've enjoyed painting these so much, I'm definitely going to go out and get the next box set as well. Let me tell you a little bit about what they are. This one here is Retiarus. He is definitely my favourite out of the bunch, I think. I've put him together exactly as is on the box. I really like this figure because it's full of motion, the way the net sweeps around, and his pose as well. Really kind of expressive sculpt. While I've been painting them, I've been listening to a lot of documentaries and so on YouTube, and I did come across one that said the Retiarus always went bareheaded. Now that goes against my recollection of old Hollywood movies, which is not by any means the gold standard of gladiatorial costume, but you often see Retiarus depicted with a helmet hiding his face. But I didn't want to go... It would have given him a lot more character to give him one of those sort of sinister helmets, but I wanted to stick with what I was told by this YouTube documentary was historical accuracy. So he is exactly as the figure on the box. This one here is Velites. Again, he is exactly as portrayed on the box. I did notice though that when I stuck the shield to his hand, it ended up in a more forward-facing sort of direction. So whether I've done that inaccurately or not, I don't know, but I think he looks a little bit more realistic with that way rather than his shield boss pointing up in the air. I'm not so keen on this figure, mainly because of the wolf's pelt that he's wearing on his head. I would much rather have it been a lot flatter. It looks a bit like Basil Brush to me rather than a wolf. To give you an idea, I don't know if you can see there, that's more the kind of thing I would have preferred. So I don't think that's quite as nice a sculpt, but it's not bad. And again, this is another one that I really like. This is Murmillo. I did change something about him. I changed the helmet over to one with a more kind of what I thought was an impressive plume. Not much else to say about him really. Oh yeah, he's got a. Sorry, there is. Yeah, he's got one of the Little Big Men Studio decals on his shield. Now the decals do say that they are meant for box set 1, and these 4 figures at the front are box set 1. A little bit later I'm going to show you another shield where the decals don't quite fit the shield, but they come with box set 2. But you can get around that problem. This one here is Hoplomachus. Now I may have made a mistake with him because I kept his helmet as portrayed, his head as portrayed on the box, but I changed it. I preferred these square shields to the round ones. The reason being that the transfers don't apply very well to the domed surface of the round shields. You have to score them anyway so that they fold fairly tidily over the shield, otherwise the transfer tends to pucker, and then when you paint them the paint can get underneath the transfer and they look wrinkled on the surface as well. But the main reason I didn't like them was that it's very hard with Little Big Men Studio transfers, because you apply them face down and then peel the back off, to tell whether you're central to the shield. And the round shields aren't, although they look, when they're just painted plain like this, they look fairly symmetrical. In fact, the boss isn't always exactly in the middle of the shield, so when you put a transfer on them they tend to be off-centred. So I changed this one over and gave him one of these smaller square shields, but that might be a mistake because the Hoplomachus is styled on the ancient Greek hoplite warrior, who of course had a round shield. But I'm not too bothered about that. I prefer him with a square shield with a nice decoration of the decal. I do like Little Big Men Studio designs, they're full of character. Right, so that's set 1. At the back here we've got set 2. This guy here is Scissor. I've kept him the same other than changing his head. I put a different head on him because I do like those grid faces that they have on some of their helmets. Then we've got Sagittarius, the archer. Haven't changed anything about him. He is as you see on the box. This one is Provocateur, and for him I did change his head over and gave him this rather sinister skull helmet. The helmet that is given on the box, you have to attach 2 sort of wings to. I think they're feathered, but that struck me as being a little bit likely to come off when you handled the figures, so I went for something a little bit safer. Oh yeah, and this one here, this has got one of the transfers that are really meant for box set 1, and what I did was the boss is a lot smaller, the shield is bigger and the boss is a little bit smaller, so you get the sort of gap between the boss and the design of the transfer. So I painted that area metallic as well, so that it just looks like he's got a larger boss. So that worked fine, and that's how you get around the problem. Finally, we have who's this guy? Dimacharius. So he's so called because he's holding 2 weapons rather than having a weapon and a shield. But other than that, he's exactly the same. He's exactly the same as they're on the box. What am I saying? I haven't changed him at all, other than to paint his colourings a little bit different. I've given him a black and white plume rather than a red plume. And there we are. So I'm quite pleased with those. Looking forward to playing a game of it, and definitely going to when I get some money, I'm definitely going to get hold of the rest of the range, paint those up, and maybe buy a couple of individual figures and have some duplicates, change some of the things around. Maybe buy another one of these and give him another one of the heads from the box. Do away with that wolf pelt, which I'm not keen on, and basically have a sort of a variety of figures that I can use. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll put a little photo sequence at the end of this video so that you can see them in a bit more detail. Bye for now.